All right, so okay, so I'll just explain it this way. So obviously, when Vitaly and Adin, right, are doing their streams, right, and for the ladies that are wondering, what they basically do is they have some decoys, some guys that look very young, message these people on, these apps, dating apps. I won't say which ones, but they use dating apps, and they message them and they say, hey, I'd like to, get together, blah, blah, blah. And then they tell the individual, hey, I'm 15, I'm 14, I'm 12, I'm 13. And the guy is like, oh, okay, well, we'll still meet up anyway. So we go ahead and we set it up where we have the guy show up, he meets, and then we bust him, and then we come in, we do some we make fun of him a bit and do some weird shit. Like we brought an alligator out one time, and he was like, what the fuck? Yeah. And then another time we brought out like a fake check and like, oh yeah, you won $69,000, LOL, but he really didn't. And then, and then I used to work in law enforcement. I used to interview these weirdos, these pedos. So I like kind of get in there and I get some more information out of them and everything else like that. And obviously we have to tell them, hey, you're free to leave and all this other stuff, because you don't want them to feel like they're being held against their will or some shit like that, because then you can run into some legal issues. But the point I'm trying to make is when these guys are doing this stuff, right, you got two sides. You got the side where you want to entertain the audience, right? And then you also got the other side that if you want actual, real, fruitful prosecution on these individuals, you have to gather the evidence in a certain way where you're not putting the individual under duress. So it's like a delicate balance where you're trying to entertain while simultaneously still trying to present a case. So that's kind of why I'm in there, to make sure that, like, hey, if we want to actually secure prosecution on these guys, we got to do it a certain way. Fortunately, here in Florida, they take it pretty seriously. When I was in LA last week, they don't really take it as seriously. Fortunately, on one of the cases that we had, I think we did a really good job, and the police ended up taking it. But then the guy got released like a week later. But he was on probation as well, so that was another thing.
Damn.
But yeah, so it's a balance between the two. But does that, like, Chad, does that answer your questions, like, I guess, with how these streams work? Because, like, in my head, I'm looking at it like, all right, what's the prosecutor going to want? How are we going to actually be able to get this so that if it makes it to trial, we won't deal with issues, right?
But you know what's scary?
So,
imagine you have a daughter or even a son that's under 18 years old. Yeah. He's 15, 14. He's on these apps or even just, like, on social media. Someone hits him up and says, yo, pull up here, meet me here. And then things happen to your child. Like, you're gonna be, but imagine how many people are there like that. Like, there's so many. It's crazy. So, I mean, we need justice at some point. That's wild. Yeah. It's just too many on the street.
Yeah, I love that video that you did with Holly.
Yeah. I think we're gonna do it again on either next Monday or Tuesday. Next Monday or Tuesday. So, but yeah, I mean, it worked out. Florida doesn't play with that stuff, so it's good that we were here versus being in California, your state, I know.
My state sucks.
Where they don't do shit.